Well, I guess congratulations are in order from Patrick Daniel Law. You've graduated law school under what we would dare say at this point are uncertain times. By the time you get to your third year of law school, there's not much you can do about your grades. So what you've got to do is begin to prepare for the real world. You need to be proud of yourself first and foremost. It's an accomplishment irrespective of where you may have finished in your law school class. We all know that as you go through law school, there's a great level of importance put on your grades. And I would never dissuade anybody irrespective or regardless of what their grades were from going out and seeking the best job that they can find. Always remember that it's as much work once you get out of law school, if not more, than it is when you're in law school. So don't trick yourself into believing that you're going to walk out, take a break, and just do what you want, when you want, how you want. You're going into a field that you are ill-prepared. Law schools do a very marginal job of preparing people for the actual practice of law. What you don't know how to do effectively is practice. You understand the core belief system of a lawyer, you have the basic knowledge, but you've got to learn, you've got to read, and you've got to understand how to practice. I remember myself the first time in the first week that I was practicing, one of the paralegals told me, prepare a notice of hearing. Well, nobody knows what a notice of hearing is at that point. They may not have ever heard it. All you understand is what personal jurisdiction is and how to do research effectively. A recommendation that I would make is just like you do in law school, go out and find something like an manuals. Go out and find a book or a series of books or an audio book on practice. You know, there's practice classes that you can take in law school, and unfortunately they don't test those on the bar exam because they're not core curriculum. Just like you can take trial practice, and effectively that's the sort of thing that's helpful long-term down the road, but isn't helpful in the pre-trial preparation component. So what I would say is, go buy a nutshell book. I remember the first time I was going to try a case and I was extremely nervous. You're going to understand the substantive component and the procedural requirements of how you go through trying a case. But where do you sit? Where does the jury sit? How's the jury picked? What's Verdire like? What's that judge like? I remember I bought Nutshell's book, My First Trial, and the title question is, where do I sit? And those are the questions that you have. The other thing I'll recommend is go in. If you can't find a job, work for free. I know that's something that's hard for people to ingest and digest, but it's the sort of thing that's going to prepare you, and it's the sort of thing that might get your foot in the door when it otherwise wouldn't. Work for free, be an intern, do whatever you can do to get that opportunity. Hard work, drive, being eager, being aggressive, that's what's going to carry the day ultimately with getting that first job or excelling at that first job. However, it is a sprint to a certain extent, but remember it's more a race, or a marathon than anything. It's the long game, but you've got to put in the hours. There's things that might take you 4.5 hours as a young attorney that may take a partner or somebody more experienced 15 minutes to do. It's all about time, and it's all about hard work. Don't let anybody trick you into believing that those aren't the key components to being a successful attorney. So in the end, you may not be prepared, but there are ways to prepare yourself. Find a mentor, find someone to help you, do your due diligence. The internet exists. The internet hasn't always existed, but 99.9% of the time, there's going to be an answer of some type out there. Read a law review article. Read anything you can get your hands on to try and prepare yourself a little better. I remember I even had a paralegal at one point. She would read some of the rules from the book, from the Rules of Civil Procedure. That helps a procedural and substantive component, but it doesn't really help identify what the practice is. Do your best to find resources and materials. Go about your business, but work hard. You have to understand what you're doing in order to be an effective advocate and to help the people that you're working under if, for example, you're a defense firm. But as a plaintiff's lawyer, there will be no substitute for hard work. Make choices wisely, and do your best to excel, and do so through hard work.